Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Raso with the Film Photography Project, and I'm here in the studio today with Leslie Lazenby.
Hi, everyone.
And welcome to the first episode of Super 8 Horrors. Super 8 Horrors is a mini-series of the Film Photography Podcast where we're going to be talking about Super 8 and Regular 8 home movies. Not the kind that you shoot, but the kind that in the mid-20th century, 1950s through the early 1980s, you would be able to walk into a camera store and there would be a catalog that you could peruse through, and you would be able to buy condensed versions of your favorite action film, horror film, cartoons, you name it. Two of the more popular companies were Castle Films, and the favorite of mine, because they're right here, up the street, so to speak, Ken Films in Fort Lee, New Jersey. They said in their catalog on page 1, we promise that every film you receive will be factory fresh and of the highest quality materials. Every order you send us will be shipped within 72 hours. If we temporarily run out of a title, we'll let you know right away. If you have any questions about our products, there was their address. And then about Super 8. Super 8 is the, in quotes, modern home movie film accepted throughout the world as the standard for home movie making and showing. Super 8 offers significant advancement over regular 8mm. The picture area of Super 8 is 50% larger. Leslie has actually picked today's condensed film, which is The Raven.
The Raven. I love The Raven. I love the Roger Corman series, created movies, and he used Vincent Price a lot, and I loved Vincent Price. Almost like the big three, right? Vincent Price, Boris Karloff, and Peter Lorre. I couldn't imagine an hour and a half, an hour and 45-minute full-length feature reduced down to 7 minutes. Are they going to be able to 7 minutes and a half? Can they pull this off? So I think we're going to see right now.
I think you're right. Let's start up the projector.
You got it. It says American International on here, and I have a Super 8 version converted here. And this is the first thing I noticed is The Raven, in its full feature, it is in color. This is black and white. We are introduced to Boris Karloff and Vincent Price, Vincent being first. And we go right into the flick, and I'm thinking, hey, how about Peter Lorre? They didn't mention him. He is on the box. At the very beginning scene, which actually happens, I watched the full-length version to compare it, and I have to go in an hour and 3 minutes to come up to the point where the Super 8 starts. So we're in an hour and 3 already. First thing I noticed, it's not in color. It is black and white. I mentioned that. We have subtitles. This is a silent with subtitles. We also have the only little bit of humor is in the very first scene. And the humor in the original movie is just the humor, the snarkiness, and the sarcasm are continuous. But you don't get it in this Super 8 version. Is this going to hold together as a plot by itself? I don't get a character synopsis on the box. I don't get it by the beginning of the movie running the characters in front of me. So I have figured out that I've probably got two magicians here, and they're going head-to-head over something. At one point, I get a clue. I get the clue because the text tells me, or the titles tell me, that we've got a daughter involved of one of the magicians. And that would be the Vincent Roll Price, who is Dr. Craven. His daughter is here. She's now in, with the hands, you know.
Stockade.
Stockade, yes.
Yes.
Dr. Scarabus. Dr. Scarabus.
That's Boris Karloff.
That's Boris Karloff, and I missed that first introduction to him with that echoing sound. And then they begin to have the face-off. Who's the better magician? Who's going to win? I know the background because I've watched the full movie. But right now we are seeing the special effects going on, such as Dr. Scarabus throws a snake at Dr. Craven, and it ends up he turns it into just a black scarf around his neck. He takes it off, wads it up, throws it back at Scarabus, and it turns into a bat that bites him on his neck. Then he takes the bat off, and he turns it into some throwing knives. There's some great special effects. The throwing knife is, I believe, probably totally rotoscoped in, and this goes back and forth. We have this major battle going on. And we have two women in the scene. One I have already figured out is his daughter. Oh, and there was a scene right there where we see this old man. It's a trick of Dr. Scarabus to become this, to shapeshift, to change in the old man. If you are familiar with the original movie, what you're seeing is Dr. Craven's father, who was in the casket earlier, that he snipped a piece of hair off of to use in one of his cantations. And there we see a young Jack Nicholson. We really don't know his role in all of this. It's never really explained. He's secondary. Jack's B-roll in this, by all means. But on Jack's shoulder is the Black Raven. We have never found out that the Raven was a human. We go through the whole movie and it stays a raven. At the very beginning of this, as I mentioned, we got Vincent Price introduced to us, and we got Boris Karloff introduced to us. We never got the Peter Lorre character. His name is not at the beginning of this, as they're rolling the opening credits.
But he's on the box.
He's on the box. If you watch the full movie, you know it was him, Dr. Bedloe, who was turned into the Raven. And Bedloe asked the Vincent Price character for help to become a human again, and then it was Dr. Scarabus that did this to me. That's how they end up in Dr. Scarabus' castle here. And now we're going back to the major mighty war again. With they do these great they have hand magic, and they throw electric beams out. These guys are these are the top of their association. They're the head master magicians. And
I find it a little disappointing that it's black and white when it's a brilliant color movie.
It is brilliant, and how the scenes were done inside the castle, the coloring, of course, was very important when they lit it. How they lit it, the colors that they used were beautiful.
Leslie, who edited this?
Who edited this? Originally, who after I'm sure he saw this black and white version, was Ronald Sinclair. And there is, of course, no editing credits really given on this version.
You think it's an intern?
I think
or like a Ken film technician?
I think it is, if you watch it.
Or a lab technician.
Yes.
Like, hey, buddy,
little white coat.
Cut this down to 7 minutes.
You got 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Get at it. I need it in 10. It holds its own as a movie to watch it beginning to end. If you've never seen the other Raven, you can make a plot out of this, even without all of the sound and the voice that you would hear normally. With just the few closed caption subtitles you get, you can make a plausible movie out of this. Now we've just had this other woman that was in here. The castle's coming down. The big battle's over. The castle's on fire. And the Vincent Price character, Dr. Cravens. And I don't think they ever identified Jack Nicholson's character, which is actually Dr. Bedloe's son. And he plays Rexford Bedloe.
Right.
And the daughter are all escaping now from the burning castle. So we've got this back scene that was probably all done as a matte scene.
It's lavish.
It's lavish.
I can just picture like an 8-year-old kid in his living room with his jaw kind of dropped. Like,
Yes, and now actually we have come to the end. The end, and what you get on this is The end. There's not another credit involved. It's done. So, yes, it holds its own, but what it truly, truly misses is the color. That makes a big difference. We miss the humor, the snarkiness.
Yes. It's almost like the editor was given the task of, this is a horror film.
Yes.
Like, we don't care about the humor. We want to show the action and some horror.
And that's exactly what you got with this. The very, very first line out of this, there is a hot poker on a fire. And
yes, I saw that.
I think it's just a secondary character, takes it out, puts it in his palm, and it steams. And Dr. Scarabus goes, not quite ready yet.
Right.
You know, and that's, but the movie is, the full featured is just filled with this.
Right.
It's marvelous. But yes, you're right, Mike. This was just ended up to be a short horror flick. There's none of that other snarky, wonderful writing from Dr. Bedloe.
Nope.
We never see the Raven change back.
Even the contrast of this home version is kind of high contrast. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's because of the age. I just think that these were jammed out in the lab quick from maybe from prints or dupes, or the lab even used the wrong film to make the dupes to black and white. It doesn't look as good as it should, even as a black and white film.
That's correct. But I learned a long time ago that an analog copy, because they may have had a print and then to copy that, essentially contact printed it, piece of film up against the other piece. Every time you did an analog copy, you picked contrast up.
Right.
So certainly not uncommon or unexpected to see this.
Well, back in the day, you had a choice of these films. They had
Yes.
codes in the back. So I don't know what other versions of this, The Raven, existed, or if they did.
Right.
But there were other films that you have a choice of 50 foot for $2.95, 200 feet, black and white or color. Strangely enough, some were $8 and some were $15.95. This one was $15.95. And then some were 16 minutes on 400 feet of film for $44.95. And this is like 1970 money.
Did your parents ever let you buy any of these pre-recorded? Did you have movies in
No, I drooled
Okay.
over these movies in the back of Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine as a child. I never even asked my parents because I just saw the price.
You knew.
And I just thought, we owned a projector.
Sure.
So, if you at home listening had these films as a child, or if your parents screened them, or if you got your projector and your films under your arm and went to your pal's house and projected them against the side of your house, drop us an email, podcast@filmphotographyproject.com. Did we miss anything?
I don't believe we did.
Good.
I think we've wrapped this all up in a condensed Super 8 version.
Yeah. If you liked what you see here, we are planning to do a series called Super 8 Horrors in the fall. Please do drop us a line. Let us know what you think. Words of encouragement always help move things along here. And we just want to have fun and share what fun analog stuff was available from the mid-1950s through, let's say, the 1980s. No VCRs, no DVD players, no Blu-ray, no iPhone, no pads.
No digital downloads, no...
Zero.
Yeah,
How'd you see this? This was it.
This was it.
Yep.
As a final word, the Raven, nevermore.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.